welcome to NinCast Episode 7, brought to you by Ninpoku Chronicles, or NC for short, and Shinobi viewers everywhere. NC is a role-playing forum site based on the Naruto universe. Come and create your own story at www.ninposho.com. I am Harashin, the Ifrit Kage for the Cloud, and a member of Cloud Moderation. With me this week I have Jake, who plays Hoshikara.
Sup?
And CG, who plays Yuri.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
So this is part 2 of the Battle Model System. We had a battle system starting last 2 weeks ago. But before we begin, I want to cover some general announcements before we continue on a special topic and some IC events. So anybody who's been keeping up with Naruto, a lot of things have been going on. For instance, Kaguya Otsuchi, I think I pronounced it right. She is revealed to be the first human to use chakra after consuming the fruit of Shinji. So basically, for what Naruto and Sasuke are describing is that this character is apparently stronger than Madara and the Ten Tails combined. So basically, it's based. I don't know. Everybody thinks that Naruto's become like Dragon Ball Z, so it's like it's not necessarily about the other characters, but just these two characters plus this mysterious character and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting because the story now is just it's all about peace and about like people trying to create peace like Madara and this character. And my character Shin is kind of doing the same thing, but he's not doing it by force. Whereas I think Hoshikara is kind of the same. It's kind of similar. He wants peace.
Oh heck no, he doesn't want peace.
He doesn't want peace.
Well,
he
now
wants to
he
control
does.
himself.
He didn't.
Because I mean, it's not really peace, but he wants to control the world in his own image. Like
No, actually, he just wanted chaos. He thrives on chaos.
Sure. Okay, and apparently Naruto can fly too, so I guess that means NC can.
No.
Yeah, Naruto can fly now. So
Stop. Continue on. Wrong conversation to have on this podcast.
Okay. Anyways,
moving on.
Some new information. Our affiliates. We've got. I guess one of our affiliates changed their site, so we got their new URL for the new site, and also I spoke to the admin for the site, and they said that he said that he's happy to allow some of his members to be guest stars to the podcast. So hopefully in the future we'll have some affiliate themed podcasts and episodes. And it'll help both sides to flourish. Have members come to the site because of the podcast and stuff like that. And also the podcast will eventually be added to iTunes. So I'll keep you guys posted on that too. So I'm gonna hand it off to Jake for some announcements because I think yesterday a lot of things were announced for dev. So I'll take it to you. I'll give it to you.
Oh yes, hang on. The big things, obviously, we've started showcasing 3 more of the core abilities that we're changing up. So yeah, we already did Empathetic, Ghostwalker, and Hawkeye. We've added Chakra Attuned, Pyromaniac, and Opportunist to that list. So feel free to go there, look at the changes we've made. We also added an ability to both Dark Sage and Sharingan Implant, a.k.a. Eternal Magic blah blah Sharingan. I can't say that word.
Mangekyo.
They both had, whatever. They both had 5 abilities. Everything else had at least 6, so we added 1 to them. Actually, the very big thing, we completely updated all of the contracts to be more in line with the new rules and systems in place on NC, because those were all actually using the old 5-5 rules. So
you mean like the damaged output and stuff like that? And I guess,
yeah.
Or so basically the
damage, the effects of the moves, all of that lovely stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. For those Dark Sages out there, we took Malevolent Sealing, and since we nerfed the mouse seals so that they don't lower your HP and CP mods after battle, and removed some of the buffs from them, we actually made those cost what an A-rank jutsu should cost at this point. We also nerfed Reaper Death Seal because that thing was just... It was not an A-rank jutsu, and no one was using it that we could tell. So we went ahead and dropped it to B to see if more people would use it. We dropped the damage to match as well. Yeah, we've just done a lot of changes. I know a lot of people were asking about the medical system. Like, can healing jutsu do this, that, the other? We went ahead and made it so that... No, those are not in effect right now for whoever asked that. We're going to redo all of them. Then we're going to redo all of the bloodlines and then release them. But medical jutsu, we went ahead and put out some heavy rulings on it. Things like the critical hits, how they handle buffing and damage, things of that nature. We updated Shinobi 101 Gin, because before you couldn't actually use it with an advanced element. Now you can. Honestly, I could sit here for an hour going through all the stuff we changed in the last 2 weeks. Those are probably the biggest ones. So, yeah. Also, a round of applause to everyone who was ever a Ghost Walker. You have lost the most broken thing this site has ever seen. Cloak dance is no more. You're no longer invincible every other round. But other than that, we're still working hard on getting those core abilities done.
Sweet, that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the IC announcement. Well, IC stuff is going on. So in Cloud, I'm gonna say it again. It's mostly Shin and Hoshikawa is doing stuff. There's some other things going on too.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on in Cloud right now.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So what's happening? In regards to Shin and Hoshikawa. So apparently, like I said 2 weeks ago, that Zaku was brainwashed, and Hoshikawa has revealed that he's the one who purposely brainwashed him. Now, the reason why he brainwashed him is obviously for selfish reason, because he felt like he was threatened.
Actually, it wasn't even selfish. It was literally just you hurt his ego.
Well, ego's not selfish. I don't get it. Like,
I wouldn't call it selfish. Selfish implies there's something to gain. He really didn't have anything to gain. He just wanted to get y'all back for wounding his ego.
Semantics. Okay. So so basically that's the reason, and Shin's trying to devise a proper punishment. And I've been thinking about what exactly we're going to do, and Shin might end up starting to either not brainwash, but like wipe Hoshikawa's memory the same way he did it to Zaku. So I guess in the end run, Hoshikawa will learn about what it means to lose, something that's dear to him, like his memories, and he might change his behavior, his identity, because he's so full of himself that maybe this might humble him. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. Besides that, there's some things. There's the missions going on. So for those who are in my mission, I apologize for not posting sooner because this week's been a very busy week. We had E3 this week, NBA's today, and I think the World Cup started today too. So
correct.
It's been a very busy week. So yeah, but hopefully today I should be able to get it posted. I'm at 800 words right now, so it should pick up soon. So anyways, I don't think anything interesting in Cloud besides there's still the branch events going on, I think. But besides that, nothing's really going on. Is anything interesting going on with Sand? CJ, is it still the event? Or?
So I mean, yeah, our event's still running. We had our move forward, and with it comes a bunch of other opportunities for people to partake in stuff. So now that they're no longer hindered by a 24-hour timeline sort of thing. And the reason why that 24 hours took so long, other than my activity as a mod, I wanted people to have ample time to actually gather resources to do meaningful things, so that way that they had something else to work with when they jumped ahead. And I did a synopsis write-up for what basically everybody in the village did, and how what kind of impact they had, and how it's going to slowly ripple outwards from there. And after that, I basically when I moved the timeline forward, I released a bunch of mini events on top of it. Both of which, actually, I guess the Anarchist kind of got it easy because there's only one PC Anarchist, so I didn't think it was worthwhile giving him a mini event to unlock his mission HQ. So we blew up the Kazakage Tower to start the event off, and in there was the dispatch center where our shinobi would go get missions, right? Well, a bunch of crazy lunatics decided to move in and started handing out anarchist missions. Go around the village, cause trouble, kill people, etc., etc. And so, our resident anarchist can now go there, pick up, mission dossiers to go make money for himself. And they also earn notoriety based off of this as well. But for our more typical characters, all of our, still a loyal village shinobi, they have to go through a mini event in order to unlock their HQ. And with their HQ comes a nifty NPC who has a little bit of history in the village. And also comes a bunch of resources, because it's also going to act as a headquarters and like an intelligence network for them to be able to, get hints as to directions they should probably take their own driving direction in. And with it comes a list of I think I've written up 15 missions with the help of some other sand counselors. So there are 15 missions starting off for anyway from E to A rank, some solo, some team, some whatever you want them to be, to keep people interested. And then on top of that, when some headways made on that, I have a bunch of other stuff that is just going to randomly pop up in the village, and it's basically going to be a participation based. The people that join, you have X amount of time to join the topic, and then after that X amount of time ends, you cut off the date, and then those people are locked in that time frame, because everything has a timestamp. Event based has a timestamp, so you know exactly where you were on that day at that time. So you're locked out after a certain point, and based on how it happens, if you actually succeed, you gain rewards, stats, money, things like that. And there's a lot of miniature event points for people to do this. So activity is rewarded highly for people that are willing to hop around and do the digging and find these things to get themselves moving into a really interesting direction. So yeah, I have a giant notepad filled with these things that can vary from fake bomb devices that are placed around the village for people to investigate, which aren't actually bombs but contain caged up creatures from the supernatural plane. There is a gas leak from the R&D division that is leaking into the hospital that people have to go investigate and prevent, and maybe burn off, depending on how they actually want to handle it. And then there's general intelligence gathering missions where you're basically trying to connect intelligence lines so that way you can get more information back in, and so that way you can make better decisions as to different ways to go at it. But it's the more information you have, the more interesting things you can do. So we just have to wait and see what people decide to try to follow up on.
Pretty cool. Huh. So yeah, I guess have you self-planned all these missions? All these missions are just like ideas or whatever.
Oh, all the missions are written up. So if I posted the list, you can just grab one right now and go write it. They all have their ranks. They have their mission objectives, and like I said, we're giving people leeway. So the objectives are simple enough and non-specific enough that you could choose to do a solo RP for it. So that way you don't have to have a moderator determine your success or failure. So that way, if you want just the free 5,000 yen or whatever it is, I forgot the yen payments for solo missions. I haven't done one in a while. For the week, you can just grab it and do that. And with it also comes non-NC related item rewards. So, for instance, and this was actually from another counselor who encouraged this idea, was that. So the mission is, there's a group of people that are going to go poison Suna's limited water supply. Well, you want to stop this, because not only is it going to be a detriment to the entire village, but basically to everybody. And so you go stop these people, you go stop these radicals from poisoning the water supply, and in turn you get the poison, because you've defeated them. Well, now you have this poison that you can use to do something else with. And so people have this opportunity to build up, resources for themselves that they can later on use to greater impact. So all the missions have little rewards like that, assuming you didn't do something specifically in character to either destroy and or mangle whatever it is you could have potentially gotten away from it.
Interesting. So, how long did it take you to develop all these missions? Because, I guess for me personally, I don't do all my missions ahead of time. I plan my missions, the outline, but I don't plan multiple missions, because it's kind of hard for me to do that. So, do you sit down one time to just do all the missions, or what exactly? How does it go?
Well, so like I said, the list of missions that I have are an assortment from a handful of different people. Some people to note, Yuto, previously Koga. I had some additional help from Kendori Shu, and I also had some inspiration from Mikaboshi. But we basically do the list, and like I said, they're nondescript enough that they can fit anywhere. They can fit pretty much anywhere within the timeline. which is important because like the timelining thing is actually a big deal, and the fact that we're not tying it down to a specific area gives people leeway as to determine where they were, what they were doing within a certain point in time. And so they get the opportunity to timestamp it themselves. And if they don't, then I eventually will swing through later and be like, so this is when this happened, which means it'll determine whether or not if you have a resource reward from that mission in order to accomplish something later on. So,
Okay, cool. All right. Since we don't know anything about Stone still, I guess we'll skip Stone for now. We do gotta get.
Actually,
We do.
I do have some information from Stone.
Okay.
Jake did some digging.
Kind of have to with this one. Ryujin Kyoko has hired Yong to go to Cloud,
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
kill a council member, and blame Sand.
Oh, that thing again. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
Although they're doing it ICly this time.
does Cloud still have an in-character council?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay.
We always had an in-character council.
I know we have. I just didn't know if we maintained it because
And from my
Yeah, we maintain it.
understanding, I could be wrong here, so I'm not going to say I'm correct. I'm 100% right. I do believe, however, that a very prominent member of Stone is now questioning their Kage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so maybe we have a little Stone Village civil war. That could be interesting.
I'm not even sure how we're going to do a car song at this point, because it seems like,
Everybody's got issues.
yeah, it seems like everybody has issues.
We got too many issues of our own. We got no
Yeah.
time for yours.
Everyone has issues. That's part of life on NC. I've got issues. You've got issues. Let's go to Ninja Bucks and get some coffee.
Ninja Bucks, man.
I want a Ninja
I'm almost
espresso.
done with that, by the way.
Oh, God.
Ninja Bucks.
Can I get a Shinobi espresso?
I don't see. There's actually, and we're again. This is why I actually. Oh, I changed the topic, but we are tangenting away from our initial battle mod system topic because we were in updates and those sort of. Well, I just want to point something out, just because I said we're too busy with all of our own issues, therefore we have no time for yours. It's actually technically the other way around, because if you were to put the effort in to go to the summit, you could ask for aid from the other villages to help fix your problems, and therefore you fix yours, you now have all your resources free, you can go help someone else's. And that's the idealistic view of how that would work, right? In a perfect world, people come help you, you're now free, you can go help them with your expertise and and you just eventually solve everybody's problems. That's like world peace in a nutshell. It'll probably never happen because everyone's got their own issues and they've got hang-ups about certain things, but idealistically that's how that would work.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. We'll figure out a way to get a car somehow. I don't know. I guess I can use Hoshikage.
I could always go and kidnap the Raikage and Tsuchikage. I have experience in kidnapping people.
He does.
Okay.
And the Kazakagi's outside the village on his own right now, so that wouldn't be hard.
I could definitely get him. Oh, that'd be easy anyways. I could just walk up to him and promise Ray like 12 months of WoW for free.
Wow. We're in the bribery now. I didn't know we encouraged that here.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to our second segment thing. So, battle system. So last week we talked a lot about what it means to be a Beamon, what to expect, and things like that. So I like to discuss more about the issues of the battle system in general. So one thing that people don't understand is the action point system or the AP system, how it gets abused. If anybody who's listening were on NC back in version 5.1, the AP system was very abused a lot. About you have a lot of characters who do a lot of moves and very few amount of actions, and whereas people who didn't have much, AP couldn't do much at all. So it's still the same way right now, but it's a little bit better, I would think. But yeah. So the AP system, I've talked some of this before, but who was the one who designed the AP system in general?
I think Raiko, actually.
Raiko? Okay.
Really?
That's what I believe I've been told, is that he came up with the idea for it.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure who the original creator of the AP system was, because I thought it came with the 5.1b system as a, it was a package deal.
Yeah. But anyways, the AP system, like, I'm not really sure what was the point of it, but I think that the point of the AP system was basically to allow people, I don't know, control how actions are being placed. I mean, in any RPG game, you have some type of time allots for actions. Like in Final Fantasy, I think Final Fantasy 4, I think it has a system called the ATB system, which is basically it's kind of like real time, but split with we call it time-based system, whereby you have a certain amount of time to do a certain amount of actions, and then when the allotted time is over, you have to wait. So this is kind of the same way here, but it's a little bit different because I don't know. Because right now, if the APS system, we use actual time to determine when actions are being performed, which is to me it doesn't make any sense because in real round, there's no like I mean in the battle system, the battles that we have, the APs aren't really mentioned that much. Like we don't say things like, oh, if technique hasn't been performed 10 seconds, then it fails or whatever. It seems very ambiguous to me, and I don't know why there's actual time, in the system itself. So, what do you guys think?
Well, the big thing, first off, we can't use something like the ATB on NC for obvious reasons. I mean, we're a forum. We have people. I could get in a fight with you, and I mean, I post every hour sometimes. You might take 2 or 3 days to respond. If we're in a fight, we can't just go, okay, whoever sends in their actions fastest wins. We have to have some balance between the fact that you might not be as active as me. Just because you're not as active doesn't mean you instantly need to lose a fight, though. So AP, I think, came about as a way to quickly handle a fight without just making it so you could die in 2 or 3 hits. That way you can do a lot in one round, but each round can happen, you can do several things at once. That way you don't have to constantly be getting on and sending in another hit or another attack or something.
Like, can we micromanage the system similar to ATP, whereby I don't know, before we used to have a flat rate AP, everybody had the same amount of actions per round. The difference is that the higher you rank you are, I guess, the better. I mean, we could just have everybody have the same actions, but the strength of the jutsu will be based on the rank or whatever. But everybody will have the same amount of action points per round, or whatever. Because right now, for instance, an S rank person can have 12 APs per round, right? That's a lot of actions. That's a lot of.
It's 10.
Right? It's 10, right? Or is it 10?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We dropped max AP down to 10. Okay. Reason being, the round is 10 seconds. So that gives you 1 AP for every second you're in the fight at cap level. The reason you have more than, say, at E rank, though, is obviously you are much better trained. In those 10 seconds, your training kicks in. You have a better response time. You have more familiarity with what you're going to do, and so you do it faster. It's just like with if you take someone who has never boxed a day in their life and put them up against someone who's been doing it for a while, the person who's been doing it for a while, their muscles instantly move where they need them to. So their punches are faster, their reactions are quicker. It's just showing your training.
Well, yeah. Quick question. Kako's asking a question. She's asking about the death penalties. Should we change it or what? I guess now. I remember Tatsuya. He complained about your character dies. So what's the point of having a stat penalty? It makes 0 sense.
Well, for one, a good point to it is so you don't go off, make a new character at the same PL and just break them to all heck and go after the person who killed you.
Yeah, I guess. That makes sense. But if your character is killed, I can understand suicide because suicide should be penalized because you don't. The other action,
your character is an IC thing. It is your in-world character. Stats are not. They integrate a little bit with it, but at the end of the day, our battle system is a lot of numbers that are not relevant to in-character. So losing your character is your IC punishment. That stat loss is your actual mechanical punishment. there is always going to be a failure for losing.
Yeah, but I don't think there should be a great divide between in-character consequences and out-of-character. Because, I remember talking about this last 2 weeks. If you're a Kage, you're expected to be strong in your position, well, most of the time. So,
Not necessarily. I mean, you could just be a good leader.
I mean, yeah.
Let's look at the manga. What's his name? Danzo got made Kazekage or Hokage, standing, acting Hokage, whatever.
Yeah.
When Tsunade got injured. Yeah. There is no way in heck he was strongest person in the village.
Yeah, but he had an entire group of people
exactly. He was a good leader. Kage doesn't have to be the strongest. You're just the best leader.
We're getting into semantics. Shen, finish your point.
Well, my point is that I don't think. My point is that the stat penalties, they should be. I guess it should be more subjective rather than objective because, depending on how the person died or whatever, they should get a penalty. Because the penalty is because you get punished for it. You shouldn't really be punished because your character died. Because if your character dies, the character dies. It's not your fault he died because that's how the story resolved or whatever. So you shouldn't be punished for that, I think.
Okay.
But you should be punished based on maybe nefarious reasons, like you're pursuing your attacker, and you want to kill that person just because of out character reasons, but not really in character, and you should be punished for that.
Well, see, that's different though, and this is the reason why rules exist on NC in general, especially in concerns to specific things towards the battle system. Is that we have two types of people on NC. No matter how you look at it, it's. Yeah. I mean, there are lots of shades of gray, but there's a very predominant black and white line that are drawn between each players. There are the people who highly value their role play aspects. For instance, I can use Tatsuya as a great example of this. He adores his characters. Yeah. And then there are people who literally only care about their numbers and use their in-characters as a vessel in order to go engage in combat. If we remove death penalties for everybody, the people who love to go fight will not care about the character that they just lost. They will re-roll. They will choose a different build because their last one wasn't as good, and they'll go back and start fighting people again.
Well, I'm not saying remove death penalties entirely. I'm just saying death penalties should be subjectively placed, not objectively.
We can't be subjective.
Yeah, I mean, unless we review every single death
at
on the
that point,
site.
We're going to start getting claims of favoritism. People are going to start complaining because, hey, this guy got less penalties than me. Why? I didn't do anything different. And even if we point out, yeah, you called the B mod, you cussed his mama out, you threatened his wife, his dog, his cat, whatever. They're still going to say, well, I didn't ask to die. Our players will not let us be subjective like that. We have to be completely impartial and put a baseline on everything, or we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, you have to set the standards so people understand going into a situation. This is the minimum that you're going to face, with exceptions to people trying to bend or loophole rules, in which case we might have to, make an addendum to whatever the situation is. But again, those are extreme cases where someone's trying to cheat or do something that is, just in. Oh my god, I'm at a loss of words. They're not making smart decisions because they're trying to cheat or, just abuse the system in some way, shape, or form. So otherwise, people know the rules going into a battle. This is, these are your outcomes. We have a long list of all the various ways a battle can end, and looking at all this exactly how it's going to work. And so we have stat losses to prevent people from being battle hungry and re-rolling and going out just hunting blood, and then we have stat loss penalties to stop those. I'm gonna use the term as much as I dislike it because it sounds
power
derogatory.
gamers.
Yeah, power gamers from basically trying to go kill people who maybe aren't as savvy in the battle system and are again I'm using Tatsuya because